There's been a wide range of reactions to the current developments. At one end of the spectrum, you have Turkey, the other end, you have Jordan in the reactions and the responses. How challenging is it for you to then look at the Middle East, West Asia, and take on these challenges and try and convince everybody that, it's time to re-engage, if I may.
Well, it's not a matter of choice. It's a responsibility we have. As I said, we are part of the international community. So whether I believe the position of country X or country Y is correct, we will engage them. We will engage them in a constructive, forthright, candid, and very straightforward fashion. Those who go beyond the limits will hear that from us, and those who support us will also hear expressions of appreciation. But this, at the end of the day, is a domestic issue. It's about Egyptians deciding what Egyptians want to do. It will neither be determined in a country that seems to feel uncomfortable with this for its own reasons that have nothing to do with our issues, but because of their concerns about their own reasons. Or, frankly, even it will not be determined fundamentally by our friends. They will help us expedite the transition. They will help us provide dividends, particularly with this new government, to the average Egyptian, that the situation now is stabilizing, and you can reap the fruits, or at least you can start seeing the fruits of the revolution emerging on the trees, which you will reap, hopefully not too far in the future. But look, we will work with the world, we will be candid, engage those who seem to be concerned and those who seem to be supportive, but we will take the decisions ourselves.
All right. Your dependence on foreign aid is a major area of concern, and that would, I suppose, continue till the economy is set right again. So how concerned are you personally about it?
Well, I was concerned about our dependence on foreign aid even before the revolution. I don't like to depend on others, at least not when it gets beyond the level of where it can affect your decision making. So this is not something that comes with the revolution. We actually have not gotten. There has been aid from different circles after the revolution more than before. Mm-hmm. But that being said, foreign aid is essentially never a gift.
It comes at its own price.
It's appreciated, but it comes for a reason. Some countries, looking strategically, will give you foreign aid in grants or loans because your stability enhances their stability. That kind of foreign aid is fine. Other countries will give you foreign aid and have a short-term perspective that they want to achieve something in the short term. That foreign aid you need to take a bit more cautiously, and you need to make sure that it's not leveraged against you. Because of our transition period, because of the fact that, as you mentioned, tourism is down, production is also down, exports are down, we are bound to engage the international system to get liquidity, to get a wider level of liquidity. Part of it will be government to government, part of it will be international institutions, and we'll see what comes next.
One of the first steps in terms of foreign policy, first changes in terms of foreign policy ever since this dispensation took over, was a change in stand towards Syria. What prompted that, and why? Explain that to us.
Well, I'm not sure there was that much of a change. There was a change in nuance. But what I said a few days ago was we will review our relations with all nations, including India, by the way. Not because what existed was wrong, but because we've had a revolution, we want a different perspective, and we want to take full advantage of the revolutionary momentum to engage our friends, to enhance the positives, and to manage the negatives or disagreements in a better fashion. What I said about, and this applies, as I said, to India and to Syria and everybody in the middle. The reason why it was interpreted to mean Syria in particular is I openly said that we have no intention of encouraging sending Egyptian people to fight in the war in Syria.
Yes.
And that was something that the former president had mentioned
Yes.
in one of his speeches,
Yes.
which I don't think was good policy.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make it very clear that we are looking at rational, serious, strategic policy, not rhetorical, tactical steps that could backfire in your face. So we will not take irrational steps. But I reiterated the position that we have taken in the past, that we will support the Syrian revolution. We support the Syrian people's aspirations for a democratic, peaceful state. And we believe that the best solution, in fact the only solution, is a political solution. We would hope that that be done in the near term, because that would preserve the Syrian sovereignty and prevent any attempt to disrupt, to dismantle the Syrian state.
From what you're saying, it's rather clear that Egypt would like to be the leading light of democracy in the Arab and Islamic world and lead by example.
I mean, you chose an excellent choice of words. We would like to be the leader, but we would like to do that not by preaching, but by example. We will fix our house and stand up as a radiant example of democracy, and we'd be happy to help others follow. But we will not attempt to enforce our views or our traditions on others.
But part of that is also going to be judged by the way your own constitution is now redrawn. There are serious concerns about partisanship towards one or the other sect in the fine print. There are serious concerns about women's rights. There are serious concerns about the rights of minorities, the youth, and you stressed about the importance of youth in Egypt. There are also concerns about the deep divide that currently exists in Egyptian society between the Muslims and the Coptic Christians. How do you hope to surmount these really tough challenges when you're looking outside, when you're trying to when you're looking within and at the same time trying to project an image outside to the rest of the world?
Every one of the points you raised, I raised as criticism of the constitution that was drafted last year with the majority of Islamists. So they are all issues of concern to me as an Egyptian. That being said, given the reality on the ground and the fact that the Islamists are part of today's Egypt, they have their views as well. And the only way to resolve this is by an open consultative process where we negotiate compromises which would provide us with the basic principles, which may not be the best we can do in the first attempt, but they have to provide an umbrella that covers everybody. The most important point is not in the detail, that's important, but in the inclusiveness of the Constitution. If it is truly inclusive, if every one of us finds their place, we can then work over generations to amend it and enhance it.
So are you saying that there will be a complete separation of the state and the church, there will be a complete distance between parties, political parties, and religion?
I don't know if they will be complete, but that's what I would prefer.
All right, let's turn our attention to the relationship, very special relationship between India and Egypt. When you look at India's own experiments with democracy, and they do continue as the Indian democracy evolves, what sort of lessons and what sort of help are you looking at in terms of building Egypt's own democratic institutions?
Mostly in terms of your focus on inclusiveness. Everybody has to get engaged in this process as much as you can. Secondly, you've actually implemented economic processes without extravagant resources, as is often the case in the very developed world, in the voting system, for example. That's one other lesson that we can draw. And thirdly, how you engage different members of your society. Your society is also pluralistic from different religions, different sects, and different political leanings. So all of these things are things that I think we can learn from.
And in terms of building democratic institutions in Egypt, do you look to India to play a role in that?
No, I don't. I don't look to any country playing a role in that. We are happy to listen to advice. We're happy to learn from experiences. The Gandhi film has been watched endlessly by Egyptians here to draw the lessons.
And in 2011, there were posters of the Mahatma in Tahrir.
Exactly. Because of the peaceful nature of the demonstrations, the lesson drawn that through peaceful efforts, you can actually probably achieve more than trying to deal forcefully with an enemy or with a force that is stronger. So the strength of the determination is something, and that is very prominent here. But I would argue that you had challenges. We went in different directions 25 years ago, a little bit more than that. But we had the same challenges 50 years ago. Yours were probably even larger than ours numerically. And you were able to get through those challenges primarily because of some very prominent politicians, and you mentioned the Mahatma as one example. But you had your problems as well, and you went through the Pakistan and issues and all that. So transition is not easy. Trying to achieve an understanding between peoples who have different aspirations is never easy. But you don't have the luxury of saying, I won't try, or I'm going to back off. And that's the lesson, I think, which we have to learn. I think we also learned the lesson that it took you time to do, and we should be patient. Your Constitutional Assembly took a considerable amount of time until you got that. We tried to do it very, very quickly, and it didn't work, frankly. So there are lessons that we will draw from your experience, from the Indonesian experience, from South African experience, but at the end of the day, we need to tailor it to fit the Egyptian environment.
Well, come with the hour, come with the man. Thank you very much, Foreign Minister Fahmy, for sparing the time, and you have your agenda charted out for you well and proper. You can see. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For your time.
Most welcome. Thank you.